Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of Sunrise Auctions based in Japan, and we're going to have a look at their latest auction, which is mainly bowed stringed instruments and related stuff. So this auction is actually kind of a two-day auction in a way. Some stuff is finishing on the 11th of October and some stuff on the 12th. You see where it says 12 days, that's finishing on the 11th, and 13, that's finishing on the 12th. This looks like it could be quite an interesting auction. Lots of new stuff here. They actually sold quite a lot of stuff in the last auction, so that was interesting. So I'm curious to see what new stuff they have. Buyer's premium, I think, is 17% up to a certain amount of kind of value in yen, then goes down to 15 and then to 10. But I just noticed there's also a consumption tax of 10%, so maybe it's more like 27%, 25 and 20. So bear that in mind. Obviously this is an auction based in Japan, so import, export fees, maybe CITES, all of that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, bear that in mind. I think other than that, let's crack on and see what's here. I'd just like to say, if you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing, like or comment. Sunrise, kind of always an interesting auction house. In fact, there was a few things I was watching for quite a long time, finally thought, oh, it might be a good idea to try and bid on things, and then out of nowhere there was just a ridiculous amount of bidders coming and bidding on stuff which no one had ever bid on before. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know if my videos had anything to do with it, probably not, but yeah, I was, there was a few things where I was like, oh, this could be pretty cool, I might try and bid on this, but it was that was a complete disaster. So there you go. Well, anyway, if my videos have helped in some way for people to find instruments, or for the auction house to do a little bit better, then all good. So let's see, what do we have? We've got 8 catalogues here. The million kind of auction house there, 500 to 800 yen there, nothing too exciting on that. We've got an auction catalogue, Sotheby's, 1000 to 1500 yen. We've got the Jalavek book. This has been here for a long time, so there's a few stuff I think we're going to see that's been here a while. This one as well, so this is not new. I think this one as well, yeah, Luteria Italiana, that is another one that's been here. So we've got a few books and stuff. Let's see, 5 bow cases. Okay, these look new, 5 to 8, don't recall seeing those. 3/4 violin, no label, 20,000 yen on that. I need to remember that it's in yen and not euros. Okay, then we've got a cello bow stamped Takasu, 1500 to 2000 yen there. Okay, and let's see what else we got here. 3 nickel mounted cello bows, 2 to 3000. There's some bids on that. Silver mounted cello bow, possibly English, quite a nice head to that. 150 to 200,000 yen, that's a fair amount, quite interesting silver work there. Silver mounted cello bow stamped Amati Maginot, 150 to 200,000 yen on that. Let's see, nickel mounted viola bow there, 20,000 yen. Okay, pearl button there. And let's see what else we got here. Nickel mounted French viola bow by Prosper Colas, Paris circa 1900. It's got a Gartzman certificate with it, 150 to 2,000 yen. Right, we've got a viola with no label. It's got a bid on it already. Length about 403, which is pretty good size. Fairly curious looking thing there. Right, a contemporary viola by Heian Jin, Tokyo, 1984, sold with case and chin rest, 300,000 to 500,000 yen. 418, that's a good size, a good kind of modern size for a viola. A lot of the violists seem to be wanting these larger ones. It's cool, nice to see a Japanese maker. As I always said in these auctions, I do like to see some of the Japanese instruments here, so that's cool. 6 violin bows, nothing too exciting going on there. 10 child bows. Once again, I don't think there's anything too much to see here. Nickel mounted violin bow stamped PC Brazilian wood. I think we've seen some of these for a few times. A lots of bows. Yep, that is a lots of bows, to be fair. Kind of difficult to make out what's going on, but looks fairly generic-y kind of stuff. But you know, if you can get it cheap enough and you've got a market for it or whatever, why not? Yeah, another whole load of bows. So right, someone's been collecting bows. Oh, we've somehow gone a bit too far there, too far out of the auction. 6 violin bows, including one stamped PC. Okay, interesting. Nickel and ebony mounted violin bow, 20 to 30,000 yen on that. 5 violin bows, 20 to 30,000. And silver mounted old German bow, 20 to 30,000. Silver mounted old violin bow, no stamp, 120,000 to 150,000. 60 grams. Let's see here. Silver mounted violin bow by GL Panormo, Frog Later. I think we've seen this one before. I think this was in the last auction, but can't remember, maybe not. My memory is failing me a bit. Nickel mounted French violin bow by Marc Lebert, 380 to 580,000 yen. Silver mounted French violin bow by Moisan Frère, Miracle, circa 1950. 500,000 to 800,000 yen there, getting fairly pricey there. Right, silver mounted French violin bow by Emile Francois Huchard, Père, Miracle, circa 1925. Wow, 1 million to 1.5 million yen there. It's got a Raffin certificate though, so that's handy. 58 grams, not bad. What else are we on here? Right, a good silver mounted French violin bow, Violins School, 1870, Paris. Wow, 2 to 2.5 million yen. We're moving up in the world here in bows, so obviously they did well on their last sale, so they've brought out some more higher value stuff here. Silver mounted French violin bow by Nicolas Francois Vorin, circa 1875, Vioma model, 2.5 to 3 million yen. Wow, we are getting pretty high now on the bows. Another one with a Raffin certificate there. Ooh, a contemporary violin, sweet tone. Okay, that would be a bit curious. 355 length of back. There's a bid on that. It doesn't look too exciting, to be quite honest. Contemporary violin labelled Alan Drexel, 2009. 3 to 5,000 yen there. Looks kind of fine. Looks like fairly normal. Looks like we've got the same person, Kyria, bidding on basically most of the things at the moment, but fair enough. And what else we've got here? Chinese violin labelled Tosti Violins, Serenata model. Yeah, there you go. You're Kyria again. So this person obviously wants to get a load of instruments for whatever reason. Contemporary violin labelled Valente. Okay, another Kyria. This person is just after everything. A Chinese violin labelled OV Strings. Okay. Violin made in Czechoslovakia labelled Guarnerius. 5 to 8,000 yen there. Nothing too exciting so far on the violin front, but this is all new, so not seen this before. Contemporary Chinese violin, labelled Huan Oin, anno 1997, 8 to 10,000 there. And right, an old violin labelled Schweitzer. This time it hasn't been bid on, probably because it's in an absolutely terrible state of disrepair, so that would definitely explain it. A violin, this has a bid. That's good. Oh, someone different. Tyrol is bidding on that. 10 to 15,000 yen. German violin labelled Stradivarius. It's on 30 to 50,000 yen. And a German violin labelled Joseph Klotz, 30 to 50,000 on that. German violin labelled Stradivarius, someone's bidding on that. And it's Kyria again, 50 to 80,000, looks fairly standard kind of trade stuff. Violin labelled Francesco Guadagnini, this is a long-termer to the auction. I think these do kind of gradually go down in price, which is why I think some of the stuff sold last time, because it got to a kind of a believable level. So that was curious. German violin, circa 1900. This is new, I don't recall this one. 50 to 80,000. Maybe it was, I can't quite recall. Violin made in Czechoslovakia, labelled Nicholas Armatus, 50 to 80,000 on that. Okay, let's see what else is here. Modern French violin labelled Lutherie Artistique, 50 to 80,000 on that. Let's see what else we've got here. A violin again, why not? Let's just go for it. See what we've got here. A violin, 50 to 80,000, kind of nice enough back on that. Triple P136 is bidding on that. Just realised I should probably have just navigated the lots via that way, would have made more sense. Modern violin labelled Stradivarius, but there we go, we live and learn. 60 to 80,000, sorry, yen on that. I probably said euro about a million times. Violin labelled Carl Uschen, Winterthur, 1951. This is, I think, ever since I've been covering these auctions, I'm pretty sure this has been up for sale. Let's see what else we got here. German violin labelled Stradivarius. Okay. French violin with an unreadable label, 80 to 100,000 yen there. This looks like a new one. Don't recall this one before. Modern violin labelled JB Viome. This is another one that's been around for quite a while. German violin labelled Sanctus Seraphim. I don't know if I recall this one so much. 120 to 150,000. German violin labelled JB Viome. Likewise for this one, not quite sure. Oh yeah, we have seen this one before. Definitely remember that on the back of the scroll. Contemporary violin labelled Capellan Michele Cremona, anno 1996. 150,000 to 180. I think this was there last time, I'm pretty sure. Modern French violin, Clodo School. Yeah, this was definitely here last time. We're getting into the bigger money here, which is why I think this is stuff is not selling so quickly. Modern violin labelled Bernadelle. Once again, this is a fairly long-standing lot. A nice kind of figure on the wood there for the scroll. Contemporary Italian violin by Concetta Negrotti, Cremona, 2022, and a new one. You do have to wonder how a 2022 violin from Cremona ends up kind of without its bridge and all of those things. It's slightly odd. Has a certificate with of the maker, in fact. Modern English violin, labelled Paul Bailey, 500 to 800,000 I was going to say euro, kind of yen there. Actually fairly interesting violin. An old German violin, school of Joseph Klotz Mittenwald. Okay, 1.4 to 1.6 million there. We're in the big hitters. Modern violin, Ventapane school. This one, another one that has been around for quite a while. I'm not really sure that is going to sell anytime soon, but you never know. Modern Italian violin by Mario Garda, Mantova, sold a certificate from the maker, 1.5 to 1.8, which I guess is not terrible, but it's a bit of a lottery with these Garda ones. An old violin ascribed to David Tekla. This one is also a long-termer. It's been here quite a while. Once again, maybe one day that might sell, you never know. An Italian violin ascribed to Vincenzo Sanino. I think they've added in an extra N there. This one, another one, has been there quite a while, so that's that one. And a good Italian violin by Giobatta Morassi, Cremona, 2005. 4.8 to 5.5 million yen, so that's a fairly high tier item there. And I think that takes us to the end of the auction. So yeah, there we go, Sunrise auction. Few new things, few old things, nothing actually super interesting to me. There was some curious stuff on some of the previous ones, but this one is fairly normal, but looks like they're doing pretty well, a lot better than previous things. They're going to sell quite a lot of stuff, so for me, nothing really exciting, but hopefully they do well, and we'll look out for the next auction and see what other new stuff they have. So that's it. I'll put a link in the description as always. Check it out. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.